Yeah, it's feeling good in here right now. It's like very cozy. Like I like like when a studio is very populated with stuff. Because I've had moments where it's completely empty and it can feel like, or it's also nice, like you kind of make all this work and then create all these, or just have like sort of surround yourself with inspiration and ideas, and then sort of cleanse the studio like at the end of the year and then start again. And it makes for a new just goal of filling it up again. I'm just like, look at my thoughts. Like maybe I can just talk, like kind of ramble. But the show's titled On the Corner of, and the title comes from home, and I grew up on a corner at two of the houses I lived at growing up. So that's sort of where that title comes from, because the show is about, like, one of the themes of the show is home and memory and nostalgia, and how togetherness and solitude, sort of the presence of those two concepts, how they exist within the home, like in early life. And togetherness was, like, whenever I start a show, like the preparing for it, like the concept and the idea, I always start with like one word. And for this one, it was togetherness. And that was kind of came from my feelings of loneliness initially, and like what I was like kind of lacking in life, and then diving into research and like learning about togetherness and like learning about its significance and the importance of it. And it's kind of like how loneliness is a huge sort of like almost just like a huge problem in our society today, like, and the significance of community and how much it brings to life and the importance of our relationships. So I wanted to dive in on that. And then one of the, in like my reading about togetherness, solitude is the other sort of element that it balances with. Like, we have our moments with the people that we want to be with and our communities, and then we have our time alone, which I think is extremely significant also as a time to reflect and contemplate on those relationships and on ourselves and our lives and what we're doing and the meaning of everything, and like really all of that. And then I think we derive meaning from our relationships and togetherness. So I wanted to just to explore that more with this body of work. And I think home tied into that, and memory, because the moments that we're together like are a lot of the moments that we build memories, and like a lot of the most meaningful moments are when we're with the ones, like our loved ones or friends. Or to contrast that, a lot of memories maybe are more negative, or there's memories associated with being together with people that are, maybe there's awkwardness or like you're uncomfortable. And some of these scenes, like, I'm trying to capture that feeling of like maybe two people, like this exchange at a table, or in this interruption of a moment, and like that feeling, and sort of drawing from my own experience in life of like feeling those moments of maybe feeling distant from people but being with people, or the opposite of just like the enjoyment of. And then like this etching is a good example of like an embrace, or like a relationship, or feeling like intertwined with another person, entangled. So yeah, like really diving into all of the facets that, and all the thoughts and feelings that togetherness brings up.
Nice, huh?
So good, yeah. Exploring home as a symbol of comfort or a lack thereof, and always contemplating or contemplating contrast and opposites. But yeah, like another part of the show, the home side of it is thinking of home as a symbol, like the structure of a home symbolically and what it represents to us in our lives, and like maybe it's a place of comfort or a place that we want to escape, or a place of instability or stability or grounding, or a place to find shelter from the outside. So like all of that ties into home. And in some of the scenes I'm representing it more literally, like in the soliloquy of a sleepless night painting, like the house is sort of exploding, or in this painting there, initially this one was about like the construction of a community, like these figures like with their houses, placing them on the ground. But as I've been working on it, it's turned into more of like feels like a disorderly, like, are they choosing their homes maybe, or like choosing where they want to be, or fighting, like some people look like they're sort of maybe fighting over a home, you know? So it's, I don't know, kind of thinking a lot about that and like the symbolism of a home, and then also going into the interior scenes of within the home, and like exploring architecture and like the graphicness of, or just the graphic quality of an interior scene in contrast to a more organic like landscape scene, which I also love to do. Like more like this one's more organic and outdoors, but whenever I do something that's inside, it's always becomes much more about distortion and abstraction of shapes and color and light and stuff, and like the kind of the contrast of the organic and inorganic, and then bringing fluidity to architecture also, and kind of like very like minimalist sort of shapes, and just focusing on color and stuff in those ones mostly. All right. Okay. The angst of the unknown and those soon to be discovered. Leathery friction echoing through the halls of a winding barren dream, the static buzz of unharmonious banter beneath the boards. More life lives than that of those above. Like a muddy blue or gray, kind of gray, something. Currently, I'm looking at this guy, Andrew Cranston, yeah, like a lot of color. Like when I'm looking at people, like his scenes are very, like I love the color of them, and they're still like representational, but they're, they're sort of like abstract also. So that's a big thing. Like, or Monet, very into Monet. again, for color and like paint application. Like like I always, like I feel like there's certain artists that I really connect with in person. Like when I see their paintings, I really like feel that aura from their work. And so I always kind of try to feel what that is. Like this painting. Like I was looking at this for the colors for this. And so I'll look at like even with like even more abstract work, I'll like look at what is like what's harmonizing in it, and I'll try to translate that into this larger composition with figures and all of these elements. So it's like taking abstraction and trying to organize it relatively. But I also just love, like I love Monet's skies, because you'll have like maybe it'll look like an overcast sky from far away or something, or like a sunlit sky, but there's so much color packed in. And even like at the Getty, there's a painting, like one of the haystacks paintings that's like the sky looks overcast, but when you get up close, there's every single color in the sky, but from far away, it just looks kind of like pale. Just make a nice pencil. It's pretty good. When I look at them and try to talk about any of the paintings, it's the more I talk about it and the more I look at it, the more directions the painting pulls you in. I think that's like what I love about ambiguity, is like I'm not illustrating something. I'm really just trying to just paint this image that's in my head, and really as a painter just execute it. But then like I think the art and expression side really comes in through the unknowns of the process, and the energy that I'm feeling like currently in life really informs it. You know, there's so much sort of drama, and like there can be like you can take a lot of sorrow from it, or there's also like the positive angle, which I always try to balance those two in every painting, like because I feel like that like similar to like togetherness and isolation, like these contrasting themes that are like the opposites. And I feel like in life, those opposites are always occurring. And it's, so I find like representing that, or I try to represent both sides always. I like this one.